All right, we are going to be moving on. We're going to move on to chapter 2. Chapter 2, we're going to do a lot of solving equations and equations of lines. So what I want to talk about first is the equation of a line. And to start with the equation of a line, we're going to have to know what slope is. So we're going to talk a lot about slope today. Part 1, slope, first of all, is, we call it the M. Okay, the M. M stands for slope when we're talking about algebra. Okay, if I say find M, that means find the slope. Slope is just steepness of a line. Or if you look up the definition in the dictionary, slope will just say steepness of a line. Also, we would talk about, this is the formula of how to calculate slope. Okay, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, where x and y are just 2 points. If I have x1, y1, x2, y2, which are just 2 points on the line, that's how I would calculate it. I would take y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Algebraically, we also talk about it, these little triangles, those stand for change. In algebra, we take the little triangles stand for change. So change in y over change in x just means how much does it change up and down, how much does it change right and left. If you think about a roof or the grade of land, anything like that, you're talking about how much does it move up and down compared to how much it goes right and left. All right. Also known as rise over run. You may have heard that before. Lots of different ways. Okay, so find the slope of the line. First thing I want to do is find 2 points on the line so that I can calculate it algebraically. You can also count, which I know a lot of people do. We can do both so that you can get a better understanding. So if these are my 2 points, this point is 1, 0, and this point is 3, 3. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to label them, x1, y1, x2, y2. So if this is x1, y1, x2, y2, I'm going to label them and then I'm going to calculate it algebraically. So if you remember, slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I take 0 minus 3 over 1 minus 3. So now that gives me negative 3 over negative 2, which is 3 over 2, or 1.5. We'll just leave it a fraction so we can say, okay, it goes up 3 for every 2 it goes over. Well, is that true? Does it go up 3 over 2? It sure does. So we would say the slope is 3/2 or 3 over 2. Find the slope of the following line with a given xy table. If these are all points on a line, and I need to find the slope, how do I do that? Well, I'm going to pick 2 of the points. It doesn't matter which ones. Okay, we'll call this x1, oops. We'll call this one x1, and we'll call this one y1, and we'll call this one x2, we'll call this one y2. So my slope, m, equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm going to take y2, 12 minus 9, over 3 minus 2. That just gives me 3 over 1, which is just 3. So my slope is 3. Now, special types of lines with different types of slope. Anytime you have a line that is a horizontal line, like this red one right here, you are going to have the slope of 0. Horizontal line slope is 0, okay? And when you have a green line like this one, which is a vertical line, we would say slope is undefined, okay? Slope is undefined. Let's put that in green so it matches. Slope is undefined. So anytime you have a horizontal line, slope is 0. Anytime you have a vertical line, slope is undefined. So let's talk about what the equations of lines like that look like. Okay, well, if you have a line with slope of 0, that just means when I plug in 0 for my slope, I'm just going to have something that is y equals 0 times x plus b. Okay, well, that just means I'm going to have y equals b. Whatever b is my y-intercept, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but just to get started. Okay, and undefined, okay, I'm just going to tell you it's just an x equals line. X equals. Whatever this x value equals, that's what the equation of that line is. So this one would be 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like 5.1, we'll say. That would be the equation of that line. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit. All right, find the slope of a line that goes through the following points, 1, -6, and 1, 12. First thing I want to do is I want to set up m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which label your points, x1, y1, x2, y2, and I have 12 minus -6 over 1 minus 1. 12 minus -6 is just 12 plus 6, so I have 18 over 0. Now here's the problem. You can never, ever divide by 0, okay? If I have 18 pens and I put them into 0 groups, how many groups do I have? Well, you can't. You can't put 18 somethings into 0 groups. You have to have some kind of group. So we would say this is undefined. Anytime we divide by 0, can't fit it in there, undefined. All right, so this is going to be x equals, what does x equal? 1. That's the equation of this line. All right, find the slope of a line that goes through the following points, 8,1 and 7,1. Well, slope is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Label them x1, y1, x2, y2. So I have 1 minus 1 over 7 minus 8. 1 minus 1 is 0, 7 minus 8 is -1. 0 divided by -1 we can do. If you put that in calculator, it's just 0. If you have 0 things in your hand, you put them in -1 groups, it's just 0. So we would say this is a y equals line. Since slope is 0, y should be the same, which they are. So this one's y equals 1. Slope is 0. Equation of that line is y equals 1. Let's move along. A hiker's diagram. This is how I remember slope. If I have a little slope dude, we'll call him. Okay, if you saw the slope dude video in junior high or something like that. If you have a little guy, he's walking uphill. He is tired because he's going puff, puff, positive. Okay, he's tired. When you're tired, you huff and puff. Okay, he's walking uphill, puff, puff, positive. Okay, when he's going downhill, it's super, super nice. So we have nice, negative. Nice, negative. When you're walking downhill, it's a lot easier than walking uphill. Nice, negative. Okay? And then we are walking on a flat land. We would say this is 0 fun. Whoops, this is 0 fun. 0 slope. And then once we fall off the edge of the world, we're over here. Okay? We're going to fall and die to our death. We'd say this is undefined. We're going to die. Okay, and that's one way to remember it. Another way is, which I think I wrote it down, okay, is the slope face. Okay, anytime you go uphill, it's positive, downhill, negative. Vertical is undefined. If you look at the U here, the U, and then over here is 0. See the zeros at the end? Another way to remember. All right, so now let's do this. Draw a green line with positive slope. Well, I'm going to pick a line, and I'm going to make it green. I'm going to draw a green line with positive slope. That just means it's going to go uphill. Okay, any green line with positive slope. Then it says, draw a yellow line with negative slope. Draw a yellow line with negative slope. So we just have to make it go downhill. Then it says, draw a blue line with 0 slope. What does 0 slope look like? 0 slope is going to be straight across. Blue line with 0 slope, and then a red line with undefined slope, which means I have a vertical line. Okay? That's how we know uphill is positive, downhill is negative, straight across is 0 slope, vertical is undefined. We already talked about slope face. All right, equation of a line, y equals mx plus b. This should be a review for most of you, but we just want to talk about how we have m in y equals mx plus b is the slope that we just talked about. Okay, m slope is the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, change in y over change in x, whatever you want to talk about. And b, the y-intercept, we haven't really talked about yet. Y-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis. Okay, where the line crosses the y-axis. Where the line crosses the y-axis. okay? So if I look at a graph, the ones that we just made, okay, all of the y-intercepts are going to be here, here, and here. Those are y-intercepts, okay? Those are y-intercepts, also known as the B or 0B, y-intercept. All right, so given 2 points, write the equation of a line. I need the slope and the y-intercept, and I'm going to have to graph it. You are going to have to do this in your homework, so make sure you pay attention. So first thing I'm going to do is find the slope, which we know how to do. Let's keep the colors the same to help you remember. So my red is my slope, so I have m equals y2, which is 0, minus y1, which is 1, over x2, which is 2, minus x1, which is 0. So I have 1/2. Now, to find the equation of a line, I need b. Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look, am I given b? 0b? Yes. This is my y-intercept. 0, 1 is right here. So what I want to do is just write, okay, b is just 1. Or some tests or Math Excel will make you write 0, 1 as your y-intercept. If that's the case, now I can write the equation of my line. It's going to be y equals 1/2 x plus 1. I'm going to color code those so you can see those, where I get that. And that's the equation of my line. How do I graph that? Just by hand, which you are going to have to do on Math Excel and on your homework. I'm going to start at my y-intercept, and then I'm going to use my slope. Slope is 1/2. It's positive, so it's going uphill. Rise 1 over run 2. Okay, rise over run from left to right is going uphill. Then I just connect my points as carefully as I can. I have a straight line tool, which is nice, but you can draw it with a ruler. Please use a ruler when you draw these, or straight edge. I always tell students the best thing is like a credit card or like an ID. They're not so large and they make super nice straight lines. All right, let's try another one. Whoops. Oh, that's the same problem. Let's try another one. Okay, given 2 points, write the equation of a line. Well, first thing I need to do is I need to find my slope. Okay, slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Can't draw an x today. So what that gives me is 6 minus negative 2 over 1 minus negative 3. 6 minus a negative is the same thing as plus a positive. Adding, so we have 8 over 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So we're given the slope. Now let's see, we're not given the y-intercept. So we're going to have to find the y-intercept somehow. Well, the way you do that is you're going to take your y equals mx plus b, and you're going to plug in what you know. What do I know? I know the slope is 2. Okay, so I'm going to put that one in. Okay, I don't know what b is, but what y and x stand for are just points on the line. So if I can use one of the points that I'm given up here and plug it into here, I can solve the equation for b. And that's what you're going to be asked to do. So I'm going to take one of my points. We'll use this one so it doesn't have any negatives. Y is 6, x is 1, and that's how I'm going to solve my equation. I'm for b. Okay, and we all know how to do that. So I have 6 equals 2 plus b minus 2. 4 equals b. So now I know b, so now I can find or write the equation of my line. So I have y equals 2 is my slope, x plus 4 is my y-intercept. So there's the equation of my line. And that's it. Go ahead and do 2-3 worksheet 1.